Hi everybody, welcome to Astrology. We're going to talk about the new moon in Libra, and just before I do that, I just want to make a few announcements that the Year of the Horse is coming up, and usually annually, for those who don't know on my channel, I usually do a live every year and go through the general themes of the year, but then also I try and make it inclusive so people can punch in their date of birth and time. And you can start doing this in the comments now if you like, because I usually go through people's personal Barter chart, which is a 4 pillars Chinese astrology chart, just give them a rundown of what's going to happen in the up and coming Lunar New Year, which actually starts a little bit late. It's around mid-Feb, but I'm just putting it out there at the moment. And yeah, and also if you like the content, just like, subscribe, all that kind of thing. You can join me over on Substack as well. And we will kick off this new moon in Libra. So obviously new moons are really about setting new intentions, planting seeds, goal setting, and opportunities for growth. So for those who are really into astro, and obviously a lot of you are and probably know your personal chart, so it's very good to know where the cusp of Libra is in your birth natal chart, so you can just tune in and see where this new moon is going to kick off. And I'll be going through briefly go through the 12 rising signs at the end, but just give us a little bit of a spiel about Libra, because it's an interesting zodiac, Libra, and it is usually new moons, right? Well, particularly this one, and new moon in Libra will be about resetting. It's a resetting point, right? New moons are always about a reset wherever it falls into your chart. And Libra's usually pretty diplomatic, charming, elegant, refined, and usually quite into partnership, compromise, and justice, like the Justice card in the tarot it's ruled by. And I find Libra, being ruled by Venus is very meticulous as well. It can be. And I when I say that meticulous type of nature, it's quite similar to the metal element in astrology. And metal element, people who have prominent metal in their charts are ruled by Venus, and quite well spoken, like Libras are. They can be people pleasers as well, and they can be very good with diplomatic skills, keeping the balance, very precise with speech, this kind of thing. They make quite elegant speakers and are quite extremely social, right? So the Libra is the 7th sign of the zodiac, and it is ruled by Venus. And like I said, it's extremely concerned with socializing and relationships. But Libra can, it's not so much, there's two signs obviously that are ruled by Venus. One's Taurus and one's Libra. Libra's more concerned with it's not so, what's the word? It's not just necessarily about love in that Venus sense, or that, general themes of relationships and this kind of thing. Libra's kind of more concerned with harmony, unity, and compromise, and more connected probably to, marriage and things like this, right? It's not, it's more, I guess what you can call a little bit prim and proper, like that, like things to be in harmony, and it kind of feels secure, right, in close relationships. And Libra types, there's two signs in the zodiac that really love company, and one of them's Libra, and one of them is Aquarius. Actually, they don't like kind of being on their own too long, but obviously there's exceptions to that rule, right? This is just generally sun sign. So, Librans tend to, a Libra moon can generally seek emotional tranquility, eager to please, and is very good at seeing other people's point of view. The emphasis is on gracious demeanor, which can inhibit spontaneity of emotional reactions and real intimacy, right? So the original glyph of Libra actually was the scorpion before it was the scales of justice, right? So, you know, which it's interesting. I've always found that when I've thought about this is Libras have a very incredible skill or an innate sense of seeing other people's point of view, which can actually make them extremely skilled manipulators. And because they have that ability to see both sides. On the other side is on the lighter side of things, they make great negotiators, right? And I found in charts, doing charts for people, that a Libra Mars can actually be like that. They can make really, really good negotiators. Obviously, you don't want to send someone in to negotiate who's actually got a Mars in Aries or something like this, right? As in, Mars in Aries can be extremely, extremely impulsive, right? So, yeah, just a bit of a snapshot about Libra. And when I always look at the moons and things like this, right, I always look at the astrological decans, and of course the decans are extremely well connected to the minor arcana in the tarot. So this decan, or this new moon, is connected to the Four of Swords, which is known as the Four of Libra. And this card is connected to the frequency of Jupiter. Its quality is obviously air element, and its potential is connected to the Four of Pentacles, which rules stability, and the fours in tarot do, right? So this kind of card represents rest from strife. And the essence of the card obviously is connected to honesty, fairness, human understanding, and the ability to analyze a situation from all angles, which is one of the greatest skills of Libra. So I suggest with this new moon coming up, it's good to look at the house it's in and look at things from all these different types of angles, right? And to set your intentions around this, whatever this sign, whatever this new moon, wherever this new moon is placed in one of the natal houses, which I'll go through in a sec, of the 12 houses. So with this card too, the two sides of the personality are really gloomy and cheerful, right? So we may be experiencing this with the new moon coming up, where it's placed in our charts. So this moon is also aspected, as like everything is in astrology, and it is connected to, well, there's three kind of main aspects I'll talk about. One of them is Pluto, which is in square, and Jupiter is squaring, and of course there's an opposition to Chiron. So for those who don't know, in astrology, squares represent growth and challenges, and oppositions usually involve projections, and projections onto other people, and we can swing back and forth between kind of feelings and things like this. But a lot of it is obviously with the opposition. If we haven't done our inner homework, then we tend to project onto others. So having said that, it's just a brief summary of what's going to go on, about a brief summary about Libra. And now we'll just move on to the 12 rising signs. So Aries rising will be having this new moon in Libra in the 7th house. So this is a time to set new intentions around relationships, focus on fair compromises in relationships, and on how you seek balance, compromise, and also reflect on relationship patterns. It is a good time for collaboration with colleagues and contracts. as the 7th house rules these kind of things, not just intimate relationships, but also it can connect to colleagues. And this moon in opposition to Chiron in the 1st can open up relationship wounds. So allow yourself to be vulnerable at this time, right? So if you're single, you can put yourself out there to attract what you want in relationships. If currently in a relationship, it's good time for relationship renewal, right? So maybe just set goals between you and your partner, this kind of thing. Reflect, go over your needs and wants, and look where you seek balance and compromise between each other. This new moon is going to be squaring Pluto in the 11th. So this can be transformative in terms of group dynamics. And because the 11th house tends to rule groups, social networks, things like this, you may be around kind of powerful people, tycoons, or people with elevated status of some kind, because Pluto generally rules these kind of things. The new moon is also squaring Jupiter in the 4th, which is the 4th house, is all about the home environment and things like this. So it can lead to some inflated family dynamics. Or you may have some discussions in terms of your partner and have to compromise if you're looking for a place where you need to actually think about living or change something about the current space you are in. So that's for Aries. Taurus rising will be having the new moon in the 6th house in Libra. This is important for Taurus as we're ruled by Venus. So this is the lord of our chart, right? So for people who don't know the lord of the chart, it's the planet that rules the rising sign, and that's the planet that rules your chart, and it steers the ship of your destiny. So Taurus rising are ruled by Venus, and this will be connected to health, work, and daily routines. Probably where we need to rethink and redefine these areas for us. So if we're not in good health at this time, it's good to set new intentions around this. If work routines are affecting our health, think about how can we compromise and balance this. New daily habits are what we want to focus on. And these can include eating, working out routines, or habits to do with service, or how we can be better of service to other people, because the 6th house is all about service, right? The moon for the Taurus is opposing Chiron in the 12th, which can bring up some deep subconscious wounds around work-life balance. So if we're flogging ourselves, we may need to look into things to help balance this out better. And issues to do with valuing ourselves in the workplace, right? Because Venus is about values and how we value ourselves. The moon squaring Pluto in the 10th can indicate making change in daily work situations that can make some powerful changes in our career, right? Because the 10th house is how we're perceived out in the world. It's our profession, right? So any kind of little changes we make in our daily routine can profoundly affect what happens out in our world. There's also possibility of dealing with powerful people in the workplace, maybe even some challenges, right, from a tyrannical boss, which we can have, right, because it's a square, right, so there's going to be a challenge of some kind. Pluto's tend to rule tyrants. The moon squaring Jupiter in the 3rd can bring up some challenge to do with technology, short distance travel, or communication. Possibly having huge errands to run on this level at work. Maybe, we need to, Taurus will, especially with Jupiter there, right, we may have to, it's going to expand things. So we may have to run around a lot because the 3rd house is all about short journeys, running errands. But another thing I would say for the Taurus is the 6th house is about getting employed. So it's a good time for, if you're seeking a new job opportunity, really go for it, because the 6th house rules employment. So for Gemini, we'll be having this new moon in the 5th house for the Gemini rising, and this will give opportunities to set new intentions around creative projects, romance, children, or having children. The 5th house is about the inner child as well, and having fun. So if you haven't had fun for a while, set new intentions about routines, about what you can do to make your life a little bit lighter. The moon in Libra here is suggesting making joyous connections, as we've got Venus right in this house, so it'll help definitely connect to our creative talents. And Chiron is opposing the moon in the 11th, right? Chiron's opposing the new moon, so this can give us indications to reflect on social wounds or possibly self-esteem issues or isolation issues where it comes to groups. Remember, Chiron, wherever Chiron sits, right, we can feel like an outsider in the chart. So it's important. We may have these issues or we could be around in groups and having Chiron in the 11th in opposition, where we can tend to feel lonely. We could have a lot of social events going on, but we can tend to feel lonely in crowds, right? Or feel like we don't fit in. We're not part of the herd. So the Gemini rising may be experiencing this as time. So now's a good time to pay attention to this and, cultivate, I guess, or try and heal any inferior complex around these kind of issues. Pluto in the 9th will indicate is squaring the 9th from the moon, so you will be challenged by your beliefs and philosophies at this time, and will really have potential to transform your mind. Actually, it's a good time to do real digging into subjects in the 9th house, and we may come across subjects that really challenge us, right? Or come across a subject that's profoundly deep that really transforms our mind. And the square to Jupiter in the 2nd will lead to wanting to expand financial resources at this time, or challenged, right, by this. We may have certain things we want, and then, the goal's a little bit high. And in this case, I would just be very careful of overspending, right? Because Jupiter, we can tend to want things that can be out of our price range. So I'd just watch out for that. Cancer rising will be having this new moon in the 4th house. So new intentions can be set around family, home, ancestry, and security. This is a good time to declutter the home space, actually. Feng Shui is a really good time to reset the energies around your home. Feng Shui is a really good thing to do, especially with a new moon in a 4th house. The opposition to Chiron in the 10th can bring wounds associated with status and recognition. So this may affect stability in your home life on some level. Or vice versa, you may get support from the family to help with these work issues as well. So you may be going through something deep at work, and then you get the support from the family. The square to Pluto in the 8th is connected to joint finances and may bring transformation in this area of your chart. And these issues, right, can be pretty challenging to the psyche, right? Because the 8th house is the house of one of the psychological houses. So there can be deep transformations around the psyche at this time. The moon will also square Jupiter in the 1st house, which means there can be challenges to the home and career expansion. I will always say with Jupiter, generally in the 1st house, just watch the waistline, because there's a tendency to expand. Jupiter's expansive energy. The 1st house is the body. So make sure, particularly at this time with Pluto in the 8th, squaring the moon, we can tend to bury emotions through excessive eating and things like this. So I would just be mindful of that, because you'll be prone to putting on the weight. For Leo rising, we'll be having this new moon in the 3rd house. With the new moon in this house, we'll have many new ideas, perhaps buying a new car, because the 3rd house is about cars, right? Short distance travel, this kind of thing. So maybe people are setting intentions around, I want to purchase a new car. On this level, I would also suggest writing new intentions out, because the new moon in the 3rd house has a mercurial subtone. It's usually ruled by Gemini, so writing down your intentions is good. Chiron in opposition to the 9th indicates something that needs to be healed from your beliefs or personal philosophy. Pluto square to the 7th suggests partnerships will improve through intense negotiations with colleagues and spouses. And you've also got Jupiter squaring the moon from the 12th, which will bring up subconscious tensions in a big way. So you can really feel things on the inner levels with Jupiter in the 12th, challenged by the moon. But this could also potentially lead to breakthroughs in communication with issues that on the darker side of relationships, or people who have been challenged in their relationships. So there can be breakthroughs in communications around those deeper, darker subjects around intimacy and uncomfortable feelings at this time for the Leo rising. Virgo rising will have this new moon in the 2nd house. This is the once so Virgo in the second, Virgo will have this new moon in the 2nd house. This is a once in a year lifetime to set intentions around money and resources. 2nd house rules self-value, personal values, and spending habits. So it's a good time to set new intentions around spending habits and having, and setting new intentions around your own worth, examining your own self-worth, right? As the old saying goes, the unexamined life is not worth living. So really do the digging into the self, and how you value yourself at this time is vitally important for the Virgos. The opposition to Chiron in the 8th can bring up wounds to do with intimacy issues and issues to do with joint resources at this time. The moon squaring Pluto in the 6th can lead to transformational issues to do with health, daily work routines, and power dynamics at work. Pluto in the 6th can really bring up some power dynamics, power plays, manipulations, things like this that I've noticed with people with the transiting Pluto going through the 6th house can be exposed to bullying in the workplace, this kind of thing. So just be mindful of all these kind of things that happens in the workplace, because you may face the darker side of this at this time. But the square to Jupiter in 11th will expand your social events and networks at this time. So you may have a really busy blowout with the social schedule. And so I think for the Virgo new moon at this time, there will be a lot of value-driven growth, and it's a really good time to invest in yourself. We have Libra rising, and you guys will be having this new moon in the 1st house. So the 1st house is connected to the body, your immediate environment, yourself, identity, and appearance. So this new moon can be about reinventing yourself and taking a new image of some kind. Also, if you plan to make changes to your physical body, right, through working out or, some kind of makeover type thing that you guys want to do, then you probably see the results of it in 6 months' time, usually with the new moon, the full moon in Libra. And the new moon is in opposition to Chiron in the 7th, indicating you guys are probably going to have to confront wounds that need to be addressed from your personal relationships. So it's probably a good time to set new intentions around relationship growth. And the square to Pluto in the 5th can indicate transformations around your creative life and also children if you have them. There can be some things your children could be going through that could be quite profound. And the square to Jupiter in the 10th indicates a challenge at this time to expand yourself in the public and professional arena at this time. We have the Scorpio rising. We'll be having this new moon in the 12th house. And this is a pretty private time for you guys, a time for inner healing, retreat, shadow work, or possibly just really feeling like you need to be on your own. So new intentions can be set around meditation routines to help understand the inner dynamics of yourself. 12th house is what is yet to be seen. So it's that place in between worlds. And it's one of the very deep houses as well. It rules the collective unconscious and this kind of thing. So it's a really good time it's a good time to examine and set intentions actually about exploring the mysteries too, right? Understanding the psyche. For you guys, this is a perfect time to set intentions around this for the Scorpio rising. The moon is squaring Pluto in the 4th house, leading to transformations within the home and family. Chiron in opposition to the 6th can bring wounds to do with health. So it could indicate that, I'd say with Chiron in the 6th too, and having a new moon in the 12th house, particularly if you do have health issues, and if you've gone through to doctors and you're not getting the right diagnosis and things like this, or there's been misdiagnosis, then it's a really good time to use your intuition to understand your health problem that you have. Or if you are experiencing this, then obviously medical astrology and things like this will really clear up whatever it is you're going through in terms of the health crisis. So the square to Jupiter in the 9th also can indicate subconscious shifts in your psyche that may challenge you to expand your beliefs in some way, your beliefs and philosophies in some way. Sagittarius rising will be having this new moon in the 11th house. So it's a good time to set new intentions about long-term goals and social networks. So this is a house of hopes and wishes. So set intentions around these kind of things, because your hopes and wishes can actually really manifest at this time. You'll see that in 6 months later when the full moon's in Libra. And the new moon is squaring the lord of your chart, which is Jupiter, right? So Jupiter's steering the ship of your destiny. And Jupiter's currently transiting your 8th house, which can bring up some challenges on a psychological level. They can blow them up, right? Because Jupiter will expand the well of deep emotions that can arise at this time. You may have assistance from networks to help you move through these issues as well at this time. The Chiron opposition in the 5th house can bring up wounds from your inner child, so being around people can help with this at this time. And transformations are likely to occur in communications with siblings, neighbors, or even social media as your moon is squaring Pluto in the 3rd house. Now, when Pluto's actually going through the 12th house, it can indicate deep conversations within your social networks, and maybe can be to do with a lot of taboo subjects that a lot of people really don't like talking about. But at this time too, right, you won't want to have superficial conversations, and you'll have zero tolerance for superficiality. When Pluto kind of goes through that, the mind's going to be probing deep, and you're going to want conversations on subjects that are profound. For the Capricorn rising, you'll be having the new moon in the 10th house. A great time to plant new seeds in career and how you want to be perceived within the public. So this is a time for professional resets and setting, and a great time to set professional goals. So Chiron in opposition to your 4th can indicate needing to balance roots with ambition. Some wounds from family dynamics can conflict with what's going on professionally. So you have to juggle between dealing with that. And there could be issues with parents that may affect your work life, because the fourth house is all about the parents. And there could be, the square to Pluto is being played out through the second house. So whatever's going on professionally will have a profound effect to transform your financial situation. So there could either be upheavals or escalations in finance. The square to Jupiter indicates the wanting to expand partnerships. That can be within colleagues, with your colleagues, or at least challenged in some way. So new relationship growth will be coming in a big way with Jupiter squaring in the 7th. And I would say that with this square, there will be career advancement at this time, but it will be not without its challenges, that's for sure, for the Capricorn. Aquarius rising will be having this new moon in the 9th house. This is a good time to set intentions around higher education, foreign culture, travel, and adopting a new philosophy of some kind. The opposition to Chiron in the 3rd will reveal where we need to heal a wound of some kind connected to communication or to do with siblings. The square to Pluto in the 1st will bring up some intensity, especially about how you perceive the world. Because when Pluto transits the 1st house, you don't look at the world lightly. All right? And Aquarius risings generally have been, obviously, depending on the degree, right, you're going to be having Pluto hover around this. So it's extreme transformations within yourself personally at this time, as Pluto's in Aquarius. You may be challenged to radically shift something about your physical experience and set new goals to transform your body in some way. Jupiter in the 6th can indicate an expansions of daily routine that can give rise to a lot of expansive workloads. And it can also inflate, because the 6th house is about health, any health challenge you may have at this time. So good time to get treatments as well for the Aquarius rising, particularly with Pluto transiting the ascendant, and definitely a very good time for that. We have Pisces rising, so we'll be having this new moon in your 8th. The Pisces rising will be having the new moon in your 8th house, a darker house, and a good time to set intentions around psychological shedding. So a deep, intimate house it is, the 8th, and a house that does not perceive things at face value. So the 8th house really demands all masks to be dropped. The square to Pluto in the 12th can indicate powerful, deep, hidden issues that will surface, drawing some skeletons out of the closet to do with healing, joint finances, or also tax matters. There can be an area, these can be an area of focus over the next 6 months, so it's a good time to set intentions around these. But deep inner work, things can come up really deep, especially if the new moon is squaring Pluto in the 12th house. A very, very good time to examine the mysteries, the psyche, and get creative, especially if there's a lot of shadow stuff coming up. So it's good to, understand your astrology chart, study the tarot, look into things like this that help, anything creative that helps process the shadow, right? Because these kind of houses demand not just the cognitive work, you also need to do the feeling work, and then also the symbolic work that can help process these deep hidden emotions. So get creative with all this kind of stuff when it comes to the psychological shedding. So this new moon squaring also for you guys, the Lord of your chart, because Pisces rising is ruled by Jupiter as well, like the Sag rising. The 5th house, which can indicate expansions in creativity, romance, and children. The opposition to Chiron in the second can indicate wounds to do with your own values and self-esteem at this time, right? So these values coincide with your own financial resources. So for those who've been struggling, or it can be a good time to set goals to pay off debts. And having said that, paying off the debts, right, will increase your value of self, right? Because money is usually a reflection of how we value ourselves. So it's a good time, if we do have debts, then, and we're not feeling that confident about ourselves, then really go out there and set those goals, just to slowly chip away or pay things off, because in turn with that will boost our self-worth and confidence. So that being said, that is it for my take on the Libra new moon. And yeah, for those interested in charts and things like this, then obviously I'm an astrologer, so I do charts, Chinese astrology, planetary astrology, and sign up to my Substack and pay attention, because there's more videos coming. So thank you very much for listening. I appreciate all my subscribers. We'll see you next time.